Right, welcome to one of my first Photoshop tutorials. A couple of people asked me that they need a bit of help with Photoshop, so I thought, well, what better way than to actually make a video, and then I'll remember it myself. Right, first thing, a lot of the people have said about RAW files. Right, okay, so what I've got to do is open up a RAW file. So I'm in a normal Photoshop. This is CS4. You can use any version of Photoshop, Photoshop Elements, and all I do is click File, Open, and fortunate enough, in my Pictures folder, I've put a folder called Images for Tutorials, and they're .cr2, and that's the Canon RAW extension. If it's Nikon, it's .nef. I've actually changed the names in here. I've actually called them Blue Tit Deal Pier, Flying Blue Tit London, so I know what I'm looking at. But normally you'll just see 1234.cr2 or something of that nature, or 1234.nef. Right, what I do now, I've navigated my folder in Pictures and then gone and found my image. I shall then click the first image, which is Blue Tit. And there it is on the screen. It's a little bit dark. You can see the histogram here. Everything's bunched to the left. That's basically telling me it's all dark. If it was over to the right here, that would be telling me it's all too light. So, first things first, this is the RAW editing window. I will first warm the image up, and I shall warm that up roughly to around 5,500. There we go, 5,500. We've got a tint here. I don't normally alter the tint. It says +3 and that says sharp. I'm going to leave that. Exposure. Obviously we can see on the screen the image is fairly dark. I'm probably going to give it about a stop of exposure. 0.85. I think that's probably about just enough. Again, it's down to personal preference. Whatever you've shot, you'll be able to see. We can see our histogram has slightly moved over to the right. We've got a little spike here telling me that this white bit here is probably just a little bit bleached out. Recovery slider will slightly sort that out for me. I've gone to +75. Again, personal preference. It's just taken the edge off this white patch. It's still a little bit bleached out here. We could fix that. Okay, it's badly shot really, it's strong sunlight, but this is a good example which you can show with the sliders. Fill light, it's picking up all the mid-tones really and just giving them a little boost. It's down to 0 setting, and I could perhaps just give it a tweak to sort of 5, more than enough. Blacks, that's going to deal with all the shadows. I don't really want it any darker than it was. Incidentally, any one that you double click will set it back to the normal as shot. So this was obviously shot and it's showing 5. I could knock it right back. Probably a bit wishy-washy. So I shall leave that on 3. Contrast, brightness, I don't normally touch this. It's on +50 by default. I could just pull it back a bit actually. I've gone +39. That was brightness. Again, it's all down to personal preference. If you want your image brighter, actually I think I prefer that. I've lifted it up to +65. Yeah, a little bit wishy-washy there, but I can fix that with just adding a little bit of contrast. Just a little bit more detail in the feather. And I've gone up to from 25 as shot on contrast, and it's up to +53 now. Clarity, if you're taking portraits, you'll give about a -20 on clarity, especially for ladies' skin. It'll just smooth it out and they'll be happy with you. This sort of image, wildlife, I've just done +21. It's just going to give me a little bit of clarity around the edges there. Vibrance, it's picking up the saturation of the lighter or the weaker colours. I don't tweak it much, +5. Saturation, I could go up, it's saturating that yellow. I'm up to plus 18, far too much I think, perhaps plus 3 on that. That's fine. I think I'm fairly happy with that. I could crop it with the crop tool up here, but personally I prefer to crop it in Photoshop, so I shall just do that and do that, and there it is. That's my image. I can either click done down on the bottom right, or if I want to work on it further in Photoshop, I then click open image, and then that will open my image, and there is my image. I shall now do another tutorial which will show you how I work on it in the actual Photoshop screen.